Hey folks, this is Tron Games and welcome to Total War Warhammer 3. Today we're going to look at kind of the beginning of the campaign as the Lord Ku'Gath Plaguefather and the faction of Nurgle. And so what we want to just do to start with is Ku'Gath starts in a specific portion of the map. But it's really nice because the settlement you start with is actually quite sheltered. So you start off with Dragonfang Mount here, and Dragonfang Mount actually has a very good building to begin with. And so one of the things I'm going to do right off the bat in this campaign is I'm actually going to upgrade this building, and there is a second building here that I'm also going to add just because it adds some hero capacity. It increases my income and adds the infections aspect, because that is one of Ku'Gath's kind of faction effects. And so we'll add that to this. One of the major things to know about this faction in general is that you have a lot of cyclical buildings. So the buildings actually, once they're built, they just tend to grow over a few turns, so you can manage your buildings there, but the ones that I've selected or opted to build here actually don't follow that. So something to keep in mind. You start with a hero. I've got Adipus, which is, he's a plague ridden, and so I'm going to add him to the army to replenish some troops. And here we have the initial kind of starting army. You have your legendary lord. You've got a couple of these plague bearers of Nurgle to start with, a bunch of Nurglings, which are kind of like a little bit of a weaker unit, and then you've got some plague toads, some chaos furies, and some plague drones. So right now this is actually one of the stronger units that we've got, and we start off at war with another faction here, this Lizardman faction, and they actually have several regions here. They've got kind of these other few settlements within this province. So one of our kind of initial goals that we want to do with Ku'Gath is to actually secure this province, which means we're going to kind of start fighting here right away. And so we'll just get that going immediately. You could fight this manually if you choose. I'm just going to auto-resolve it. And then you can select some money, some replenishment, or some infections. So I'm going to get some more infections because I only started with 50. I wanted to add an additional chunk there. And now I'm going to continue, and I'm going to attack this settlement here as well. You can see I'm able to take that. I'm actually going to occupy this to start with, because again, one of my initial goals is to take control of this province. Now, you could start a little bit slower and just build up Ku'Gath's level by sacking this city repeatedly, but I'm going to select a few items here. I want to get things going right away and really start locking down this province. And so now, I don't really have much else to do with the Lord, except for I do have a decent amount of money now, and so I'm actually going to summon a few units. So here we'll add a Beast of Nurgle to get one of those, because they're quite valuable, and we're going to also add another unit of the Plague Bearers. And this is just because we see there's another army up here. They can't quite get to us this turn, but we want to make sure that we are ready to fight them. We're starting to build our strength up a little bit, and it doesn't necessarily reduce our income too badly. We've got a few turns until things are built here. I'm not going to repair this right away, and we're going to we've now kind of done what we need to do with his army. We've captured a settlement. Then you're going to go over here. You want to check these victory conditions all the time. So, Clan Helheim, Carrick Azul, and the Caravan of the Blue Roses. This is your short campaign item, and you want to control this province right here. It says loot, raise, occupy, sack 35 different settlements. That's fine. So Clan Helheim and Karak Azul are both dwarven factions. They're a little ways away from here. The Caravan of the Blue Roses, though, is actually quite close. They're right over here. So we're only going to kind of worry about wiping them out close to the beginning, because these other ones we'll get to later. So that's kind of what you want to look to do off the start. You also want to build up your tech tree right away, so don't forget to do this. If you look at these initial things here, one option that you can go to is to boost your Nurglings. Nurglings tend to be pretty cheap. You can get them improved pretty quickly. I tend to like to improve the growth in my playthroughs, just so I'm going to select that one. Don't want to forget that. And then we also have both these unholy manifestations, so we can't really do anything with this yet, but just recognize that it is there. And then we have the Plague Cauldron. So just for, you actually have to be selected on something to do the Plague Cauldron. So I'm going to use the Plague Cauldron here for Nurgle, and you can see we actually can infect a specific selection. You can add a bunch of other items here as well. So here you can see this one has growth. We've got that included. And so as you can trade these out, we can't actually do any of the other symptoms to start with. So here, what I want to actually infect is not this section, but I want to infect here. And we will infect this with the pox because it gives additional infections when a plague is spread, increases our growth and our corruption, and it spends 50 of those. So this is a big kind of mechanic for Nurgle, is to infect these, and it provides a bunch of bonuses to different settlements. We want to start growing this settlement here. That 25 that we just added doubles our growth almost. So really good kind of early game strategy to do that. And then we'll just do a little bit of surveying here. We've got Mouth of Ruin, which is kind of up over in this direction here, and then Caravan of the Blue Roses is over this direction. So we've got damaged buildings here. I'm not going to repair those, and we're going to end the turn with that. Now, one of the big things to keep in mind in your playthroughs is that each lord is going to bring a specific kind of some specific benefits to your faction, and you want to both A, lean into those benefits, and B, the lord itself, their army will benefit from having that legendary lord attached to it. So you want to lean into those benefits as well. So once this is done here, we'll have a little bit of a look at what we should do in the next turn. But overall, faction benefits that we have here are pretty simple. We have a reduced recruitment cost for Nurglings, and Nurglings get recruited with more health, and it increases the growth that we have. And if we look at him here, he gets reduced infection cost on his own army, and he has increased chance to spread plague. So infecting his army can be a really good idea. So what we're going to do here is this lord, or this hero, actually leveled up a little bit. I want to get access to some of this pretty quickly. Right now we're just increasing our corruption in this area. This section is now improving. Now we could go over this direction to try to take Dread Rock. I actually think we should move up in this direction because for a couple of reasons. And we're going to move to right there. because now I still have just enough movement range that I can go into ambush stance, which I'll do in a second, and I want to get some additional Nurglings. And then we'll go into ambush stance because we kind of want to creep our way up towards this army. And if we can take this, which is a minor settlement, we'll have isolated Dreadrock. We can then come back to this one. The reason we're going towards this one first is it's actually a weaker settlement, so they have less garrison, and this army might try to come towards us. So if they do that, we're here and we can potentially ambush them. They also could go over this direction too, and we get to take this settlement for basically for free. We also can come here and infect Ku'Gath's army, which might be a good idea because it only costs 25. And in terms of the benefits, now here we actually get additional growth. You can actually go to some of these other sections as well. I think that it's probably fine just to keep doing this. We want to boost our growth. We want to get some plagues rolling. We can't do any more plagues now because we've got this place infected and his army infected. But it's good because we've got a couple of those going now. We could potentially even infect this settlement or this army, which might be a good idea as well. And so with that, I think we're going to wrap up this video. If you like the content, feel free to leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more in the future. Thank you for watching.